My grandparents died within a year of each other, when I was 12. They left me a $230,000 trust, written into their wills with a lawyer present. The money was strictly for my nursing school tuition and a down payment on a safe home, to be handed over when I turned 21. They'd both been nurses their whole lives, and they wanted to make sure I could follow my dream without drowning in debt. My older sister got her own $200,000 trust from them when she turned 21, and my parents swore they'd keep mine safe, locked up tight, until I was old enough to use it. I spent every high school summer volunteering at the local hospital, counting down the days until I could start nursing school, knowing my grandparents had my back. Then the week before my 21st birthday, my mom sat me down in our living room, her hands shaking, and told me the trust was almost all gone. Turns out, my dad had been draining the trust for 5 years to fund his opioid addiction after he got hooked on pain pills following a back surgery. My mom, who's also a nurse, helped him hide it, falsifying bank statements, lying to the trust's fiduciary, covering for him every step of the way. They told me the money was lost in a market crash, but I found the withdrawal slips, the pharmacy receipts, the truth, a month later. When I finally got access to what was left, there was $18,000 in the account, barely enough to cover my first semester of nursing school, let alone a home. I spent the next 9 years working 2 CNA jobs to get through nursing school and pay my bills. I worked 12-hour night shifts at the hospital, picked up extra shifts at a nursing home on the weekends, graduated with $90,000 in student loans, and rented a tiny one-bedroom apartment with a roommate until I was 28. All while my younger sister went to nursing school debt-free, with a full tuition fund my parents set up for her the second she graduated high school. My dad tried to apologize, said he was sick. He didn't mean to hurt me. He couldn't control his addiction. My mom said she was just trying to keep the family together. But this wasn't their money to steal. My grandparents gave it to me to build my future, and they chose his addiction over me. I cut them both off completely after that. When I graduated nursing school and got my pediatric nurse position 3 years ago, they weren't invited to the ceremony. When my husband and I had our baby girl, we didn't tell them. We just brought her home from the hospital last month, and my sister must have told them, because my mom and dad showed up on my doorstep at 7 p.m. on a weeknight, unannounced, holding a pink blanket and a stuffed rabbit. My mom was crying, begging to meet her granddaughter, saying she'd already missed so much and couldn't stand to miss another second of her life. My dad stood behind her, staring at the floor, looking like he didn't recognize the person he'd become. I looked her dead in the eye and told them they could be part of our baby's life the second they paid me back every cent they stole. The full $230,000, plus 9 years of compound interest. We're talking almost $360,000. My mom's face went white, and my dad finally spoke up, saying I was being cruel, that paying that back would wipe out their savings, leave them with nothing for retirement. So I leaned in, and I asked them how much sleep I lost working double shifts to pay for school, how many nights I cried because I couldn't afford rent, how much of my future they threw away for pills. They didn't have an answer. They left 10 minutes later, and I haven't heard a word from them since. But my sister won't stop blowing up my phone, calling me selfish, saying I need to let this go for the sake of the baby. So I told her if the money didn't matter, she could write me a check for the $230,000 to cover the debt. She said absolutely not. I also told her if they wanted a grandbaby so badly, she could have one of her own. She hung up on me. My husband? He's my rock. He's a physical therapist. He worked extra shifts to help me pay off my loans. He held me when I had breakdowns after long nights at the hospital. He knows exactly how much this stole from me. And he's not backing down either.